Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7, and today we're doing a very quick, very brief tutorial on Hall of Trials. This is just to get you going if you're not familiar with the game mode, how to unlock, what kind of rewards you can get, kind of strategies to go for, all sorts of things revolving around the Hall of Trials that you need to know to really take advantage of it. So first off, this video is sponsored by Epic 7. Download Epic 7 down there in the link description below if you want, and you should because the game's awesome. The first thing we need to know is how to unlock the Hall of Trials. Well, if you look at the help content in-game, which actually is a thing, if you're not familiar with anything, you can often find information here. You can find it in the settings section. We can see at the bottom you need to clear episode 2 4-10 Emerald Garden. This will take a bit into your Epic 7 career, and you just gotta grind a little bit to get there, so just stay strong. Once you're strong enough, let's get going. If we take a look at Hall of Trials, the main menu here, we can see there's a bunch of different bosses. We have Xeno, Charon, Nilgal, and Incomplete Faustus here. This is a rotation. It goes through every 2 weeks, and you get one battle throughout those 2 weeks. But don't worry, your one battle isn't set in stone. You can retry it as many times as you want to get as many points as you want. And speaking of points, if we click into the bottom left here into rewards, you can see what kind of rewards you're going to get. If you get a triple S plus, you're going to get 120, and then all the way down to 54D, and the points will be explained in a second here as well. We also are going to get these wisdom gazes here, which we can see. And you also get rank rewards as well. You get extra wisdom gazes here and some gold. And if we go into the new exclusive equipment added in the bottom right here, we get a little shop menu. So this is where you get a lot of the artifacts I talked about in a previous video, as well as very, very important exclusive equipments. These help enhance your characters in different ways, make their abilities do slightly different things, and they cost 40 wisdom cases each. I have the hiccups. When you buy one of these, you get a random one. So when you click onto these here, you can see Haste has 3 different exclusive equipments, much like everybody else. Their base stat is going to be 6 to 12% crit chance, and then they do 3 different ability changing things on the right side here. We have a combat readiness increase, chance to bleed, and also you can decrease the cooldown of your skill 3 vampiric seal. So when we buy it from here, you get a random one of both. So you'll get between 6 to 12% crit chance, and you'll also get one of the 3 at the bottom here. So now that we've purchased one of these, it might not be the one you want, but don't you worry, because we've got a solution to that. If we go into the Sanctuary and we pick up the Alchemist Steeple here, there is an exclusive equipment option in the right side. You may need to have one of these ready and upgraded here if you need your Blessing of Orbis that way. And we can go into exclusive equipment, and then we have basically the same menu here. But this time, we can craft one. So if we take a look at the characters here, we will notice that the 3 that were just added are not here yet. So you'll have to wait to be able to craft those, but we can craft somebody else's. And the way to do it is you just pick one, let's say Purgus, and then you add a bunch of others. So you will need to summon them in the Hall of Trials, and then you can go here to add them. And we can see in the bottom left corner under my head, the grade will go up. Once we get the grade up to the maximum here, we can then choose which option of these 3 we want. And we can then get the max roll on the stat. So if this was the 6 to 12% crit chance haste one, this would now be 12% crit. So if you want to get every stat you can, you're going to need to summon them in the Hall of Trials and then use that Alchemist Steeple to upgrade them to 12%. Not only does the Wisdom Game shop have exclusive equipment, it also has an other section where you can buy Xeno, a 5-star character exclusive to the Hall of Trials. I do not recommend purchasing him. He is not a very good unit, but we also have some other things. We can see Sword of Ezra here, some more artifacts, Ayala Violin, Crimson Seed, a very, very, very powerful artifact for somebody like Apocalypse Ravi, Muerte, Shepherd of Chaos. We have Ambrode, Radiant Forever, Tear of the Desert, and Cruel Mischief here. And this one specifically will help your damage in the Hall of Trials, but I don't think it is worth buying either. So keep that in mind when you're going in here. I really think Crimson Seed, you gotta max that one out. And there's a couple other things you can do like Ayala Violin, but buy these as you need them. I personally focus on exclusive equipments instead, especially if you're just unlocking this. You're probably gonna need a lot of different exclusive equipments for your team. Now let's get into the actual battle. So we only have Xeno to show you today, and there's a couple things on the right side, two very important things if you want to maximize your score. You have when a ranger hero is on the team, increases damage suffered by all allies by 50%. So when making your Xeno team, you're probably not going to want to use a ranger. And also you can decrease the effect of increased combat readiness granted to a hero by 100%. Anybody who manipulates combat readiness might not be as good, and any ranger is going to severely hurt your team. And then on the right side here, we can see thieves are granted 30% attack, defense, and max health, and then increases damage suffered by moss monsters inflicted with bleeding by 75%. So very important to take advantage of these if you want to get the max score and the max reward. And if you're wondering how to figure out what kind of units you might use, if we go to Thief Heroes here at the bottom right, we want to see bleeding, right? So one thing we can do here is we can sort in the top right here, and we can sort by debuff, and we can sort by bleeding. Where is it? Right here. These units all bleed, so they might be some we might want to add onto the team. But this is a ice unit, so we probably don't want to bring a fire in there, so we usually limit it like this. And we pick a team from here. And also to note, thieves do extra special things here. So we probably want to see what thieves there are. So we can see Corinne, we can see Mui, Baiken, Tempest Siren, all sorts of ideas here. And you don't have to do this if you just want to get a certain amount of score and get some points, but this is going to help increase your score by a lot. Okay, so we're going to try a trial battle here. This isn't the best team. It's just one I'm just trying with units that maybe work for this. And we'll go over a list of units at the end here that I think are stellar for this mode. If you're working on getting high scores, you definitely need them built. So generally, a lot of dual attacking is required to get exponential damage here. And that's why we have Kitty Clarissa here. We're also bringing Destina just to be a little stable. And we have our Thief here, which does get the extra damage boost. And also, we have him on a Torn Sleeve, which is an artifact that will do extra bleeds. So he is my source of bleeds as well. And we have Vivian here just for funsy to give us some attack buffs and some other things. So one thing to note is you can obviously manual this if you want to get the higher score, which we do. And the first phase here is just all about surviving and doing damage, right? We need to bring Xeno's HP to 0, which sounds a little bit obvious, but we need to do that 3 times during this fight. And we can see here we're going to dual attack with the Sid, who does a ton of extra damage here. And now the boss has bleed, so he's going to take extra damage on top of that. We can see Zed almost entirely kills it by himself, and he does. And then we're in the first burn phase. So with this phase, whenever you take turns, Xeno gets extra combat readiness. Also, when you're trying to do tons of damage, usually you bring Defense Break, but Defense Break isn't effective in this mode. He is kind of immune to it. He takes full damage anyway. So let's start by just buffing here.
Answer my call.
And usually you don't want to bring supports and healers during this phase because you lose out on all that damage, right? You want to get as much dual attacks as possible here. And we can see right now we're 0.88,000 for our points, and we can hit once with Sid. We can see we're already up to 279. We get a dual attack with Sid again. Oh, with Vivian here, we get a ton of extra damage. And we can do another attack here. Ton of extra damage. We've got our Sid.
While you blink.
Another ton of extra damage. And we can see we have Defense Break, but that does not matter like we said. And we can definitely see here that my damage is slowly or fastly ramping up. We then go into the second real phase, and Defense Break does work here if you're having troubles. So keep that in mind here as you're doing this.
Interesting.
And the goal again is just to survive and bring Xeno down to 0. And this is different for every situation, every boss, right? They all follow the same format, but they're all different in terms of what you need to bring to the party.
Clarissa wants to play.
Clarissa loves playing these, and Clarissa's especially good for this because she is
Don't be afraid. Destina's
Clarissa does have the dual attack, and she is a dark element, so she doesn't have elemental disadvantage versus anything, right? So very, very, very effective here. And yeah, we're just gonna beat him up with Sid here. And I'm going to fast forward until the next burn phase and just show you all the burn phases we go through. And we'll go on best units to use after. Okay, we're into the second burn phase now, and we started with a bleed on him, which means we're going to do a ton of damage. We are a little bit slow on our combat readiness here, so we have to waste a turn giving attack buff. But now we are going to do a ton of damage here, and usually when I dual attack,
my opponent
with Kitty Clarissa, you're going to be doing the damage and bringing Sid along with you, which was my idea. But we notice the attack here is higher for Vivian. So Vivian is now getting torn in. So we would be doing more damage with Sid being the one dual attacking. And we can see we just did 700 and something thousand damage.
I'll do what I want.
We're almost at that triple S plus already here. And once we do, we are golden, right? That is so many rewards. So many rewards. There we go. Triple S plus here. And after this, we have one more phase, and then the boss is dead. We get the 2 burn phases, and we go on from there. And do note, this is not easy. A lot of these are difficult, and a lot of them may kill you. That's why you can try it a bunch of times, and you don't have to worry about getting it down the first time. You've got 2 weeks to try it when it's up, and also it's not a massive deal if you don't get her done, because there's plenty more to come, right? Like, this is a mode that's on every 2 weeks, and you still get a ton of rewards even if you don't get the maximum score. Okay, so we can actually prove that point because I didn't successfully beat it this time, but I still got triple S, and we can see at the end our total score. And how that works. And also to note, you do not get souls during this, so you can't use your guardian and you can't use any soul burns. So keep that in mind as you're fighting this. Don't use your Archie as a strategy. It's not gonna work. And they need to hurry up and kill her. There we go. Okay, and we got triple S, 5 million points, and of course at the end here, ba-ba-da-ba, and you get a little bit of a bonus if you complete it as well. We can see we got the 45 there. You can also see the damage dealt here. Sid did quite a monstrous amount of it here. And we can see our rankings. I am in 5%. So in previous rankings, we will get that reward here. And yeah, that is the long and the short of how to do this. So let's just do a really quick setup of which characters you might want to build for this. And these are characters that are used everywhere in PvE especially. So it is pretty important to have a lot of these built if you have them. The first one is obviously that Kitty Clarissa. She's almost on every single team that is in there because she has the dual attack. We're just going to go through this quick. Another healer that is just obnoxiously good for Hall of Trials and other values because she has a dual attack, cleanse, healing, all sorts of stuff like that, is the Tamarin. And with other dual attack characters, we have 2 more. One of them is Raz. He's got a dual attack on his skill 2, and another is Lilius here. She's got a dual attack on her skill 1. There's so many that you can build to get those extra dual attacks depending on what's available and what types of units are buffed and nerfed within the Hall of Trials itself. As for damage dealers, one of the best ones is going to be Sirmia here. She does monstrous amounts of damage. We also saw my Sid being used. There's Milim as well you can use to get her done too. And also there's people like Sinful Angelica. And what do you know? Sinful Angelica has a dual attack on her skill 1 here. Basically anything you can do to get as many dual attacks as you can while still completing and not dying is where you want to be. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope this helped you out. If you have any Hall of Trials questions, let me know in the comments down there below, and I will talk to you all later. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.